I'm Harry P. Fisher. Come join me as I share my passion for building over-the-top meals and travelling to the remotest parts of my fridge.
I'm a prisoner of this hill, searching for a way to get back up again.
So this is a 3-camera shoot.
Yeah. There's a lot of Sony. There's like an ad for Sony at the
Before the days of Instagram, influencers doing YouTube stuff,
Yeah.
when have you ever heard of a one crew multi-camera shoot?
Pretty well never.
This is the new thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 3 cameras. Absolutely. You might even have another one, if I wasn't here, another GoPro or some little camera focusing on that.
Clipped up here or...
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not anymore.
It's amazing actually what we're achieving. Do you need a little light?
Yeah. A little light would be great. Let's do it.
I've got a little light.
Well, that's aluminium. Will it go on that?
Oh, I've got another little light. We might have to turn off cameras though.
No, let's just roll. Okay.
I'm going to go and find you a little light.
So, we are doing Wagyu, roast potatoes, and salsa verde, and some asparagus on the side. Now, before everyone goes mental from America and Mexico and other places that make their own salsa verde, this is Italian salsa verde. It doesn't have tomatoes, it doesn't have all the other stuff. It's a completely different thing. I believe, if I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen, but I believe salsa verde just means green sauce, or something like that, anyway. So, first thing I'm going to do is get on the roast potatoes, because they're going to take a while. I've actually pre-prepared my roast potatoes, because if I'm doing all this, I wanted to do the perfect roast potatoes. And the perfect roast potatoes are parboiled, then taken to fridge temperature, then you add cold oil, you put them in a camp oven and you leave them for an hour without touching them. So that's exactly what we're going to do. But I have pre-parboiled and refrigerated my potatoes. Appetizing. Ooh, they've been crushed a little bit. So basically what you do is get them a little bit soft, bang them around in the pot, and then get them down to fridge temperature. It's actually a really good one for pre-doing before camping if you want to treat your guests. Okay, get my dirty old camp oven, stuff out of it. I've got some duck fat.
Do you need me?
I do not.
Good. I'm going to take my kettle and go.
Take your kettle. Do you want your burner as well? It's just under the back there.
Yes, I'll do that.
I'll take away your gas nonsense. Okay, duck fat. Quite a lot. So that's probably half a jar, 100 grams. Then 2 mini roast potatoes for 2 people, but it's cruel to be tight with roast potatoes, so I prefer to have a few leftovers than not enough. The other thing is, with roast potatoes, in a camp oven particularly, if you forget and you don't pay attention, I guarantee you will burn some. So doing slightly too many roast potatoes is always a good idea, because the last thing you want is to have to throw a portion of your roast potatoes out and you've only had just enough to feed everyone in there. Generously salt. I always throw a little bit of pepper on there. That's it. Now we're going to go over to the fire, grab my new little, oh actually, I don't think I've introduced this on the channel yet, but something we've been working on for a while is a little trivet, or a stand, or a camp oven stand, whatever you want to call it. It's listed on my gear page, as with everything else, but that is something that we've been designing for a while, and I'm really, really proud of it, because it actually fits small things on it, which is awesome. Now, where is it? So you get a small amount of coals. And I really mean a small amount. Sort of, what, a quarter of a shovel load. Now we've got this little fire trivet. So you can see that the triangle in there adds a lot of rigidity, but it also means that you can put little things like prawn pots and whatnot, all kinds of things on there. It'll be really, really good. Now, throw your camp oven down. There is pretty well no such thing as cooking these too slowly. As long as you have enough heat at the end to crisp them up, you'll be fine. %of the heat on top. And we'll check that about every 15 minutes.
Hello, future Harry here. Past Harry forgot to turn his audio on like an idiot. You'll see here I'm pulling out a blender. That's to make my salsa verde. Now, as I said before, this is Italian salsa verde, not the South American style. So this is, look, there are a whole bunch of different recipes, but in this case, it's kind of a parsley and mint base. Also chucking a hard-boiled egg in there. Now, blenders are not generally that bush friendly. I recommend making this at home and putting it in a jar or something. It'll last about 5 days in the fridge. It's great on fish and beef and a whole bunch of different things, but it's probably a bit of a pain to bring a blender out into the bush just to make it.
And I'm back. Thank you to VoiceOver Me, who just stood in as I did that. Now, we need some capers. So we want probably, oh, that's really, really tight. I don't know, half a teaspoon of capers.
This is very civilized, Harry.
Thank you, Andrew.
In the bush, nice warm fire, somebody else cooking.
That's what we like. Dinner and a show. And this, yes, these are anchovies. So probably 2 anchovies, anchovie fillets. So something I found funny about bringing out anything in a plastic container. This is the good Maley Dijon mustard. But if you bring it out from the plastic thing as opposed to the jar, people think you're using crap. No, they just actually do a smash-proof one, which is really good. So yeah, get the plastic one. It's so much better for the fridge. It doesn't bang around and crack. Probably a teaspoon of that. Juice from half a lemon. So yeah, make this at home before you go. You can keep in the fridge with some oil. Oh, that's what I'm missing, is oil. It'll keep in the fridge in some oil for about 5 days. Good quality extra virgin olive oil. This is some homemade stuff. Then it's us and nature and a 1500 watt red arc inverter. A little bit more oil. Yeah, that's really nice. Actually, I'm going to put a tiny little bit of liquid in there, just so that it blends up a bit finer, because this is not the best blender. It's still a little bit chunky. You want this to be extremely smooth. There it is. Lovely. It's ready to go. I might go and check on my potatoes, but other than that, I'm going to sit by the fire and sip my beer. And in the next video, you're going to see what Andrew and I are talking about while all this is happening. Now, party piece. You have all seen me make steak and potatoes before, but as you'll see from the title of this video, this is a little bit different because we are doing cowboy steaks or dirty steaks or whatever you want to call them. There are a million different names, and What that means is you put the steak straight in the fire. You might be wondering why I'm pulling out a travel brie. Simple. It's a lot easier. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use Andrew's original travel brie because it's really cool. If you want to know more about this, I'm going to put a link in the video description to Andrew's video about his cooking setup. But this is one of the really old. How long ago did you get this?
1993.
1993.
Maybe 4.
So, yeah, nearly 30 years ago. Yeah, you can definitely see the inspiration that Osprey got. If you want to get one, we can't go back and find that lady who is no longer with us. So, Osprey is probably your best bet. Now I'm going to grab some steaks. Unless you've been living under a rock, or if this is your first time watching one of my videos, you will realize that I love Wagyu, because Wagyu is really, 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 really good steak. So this is a 7-scored marble sirloin. It's Margaret River Wagyu. Generously salt, generously pepper, chuck in your grill. So yeah, as I said, you can do this. You just, without the grill, all you do is throw the steak in the fire, in the coals, and have some welding gloves or something, or a very long set of tongs ready to grab them out. I just like to leave it in this because I find I'm much less likely to actually lose the thing. I'm going to go over to the fire and rearrange it to get this done. These are fridge cold, so they're a kind of a standard thickness steak. I'd say a centimetre, and fridge cold straight on for the sear is perfect. In they go. While those are quickly searing, I am going to rinse these asparagus. We figured out it was asparagus, or a bunch of asparagus. Chop the ends off and get them ready to go on the same grill. This has been, I don't know, 45 seconds. So these are probably sitting in about, I would say 1,000 degrees, 800 to 1,000 degrees Celsius, which is 48 million degrees Fahrenheit, I think is the conversion. And you cook them for about 3 minutes on that, and then you rest. It's nearly impossible to burn the outside of a steak doing a sear. Let's take those off. How do you like your steak? Perfect. All right, I'm gonna have a quick look at these, make sure they're okay, make sure they're not raw. With dirty steaks, the main fear is that they'll be raw as opposed to overdone because there's so much heat. They're perfectly cooked. So it's incredibly easy. Supermarket thickness steak combined with the heat of the fire till they look brown on the outside, and you should have a perfectly cooked steak. So if you have a look at that, that is a perfect medium rare. Now I'm just going to chuck these in the grill for probably, I'm going to put these on in the same spot that I had the camp oven for 3 or 4 minutes. While I'm waiting for that, I'm just going to slice these up a little bit. And here we have our duck fat roasted potatoes. Look at that crispy spud. A little bit of Wagyu steak. And we'll top it off with a little bit of salsa verde. Typical bush presentation, nothing too fancy. Chuck on some asparagus, and then it's time for gratuitous B-roll.
If you don't mind, I'm going to use my.
Oh,
I even use it at home.
okay. Opinel. I love it.
Knife.
Go for it. Please do.
Oh, this looks fantastic.
Let's have a quick try. So, potatoes look crunchy.
Try for the camera.
Let's have a try for the camera. Crunchy. The steak is
Perfect.
perfectly cooked, I think.
Perfect.
It's got enough seasoning. Maybe a touch of pepper, but I'm happy with that.
Man, that's good. Crikey, that's good.
All right. Now, if you want to say,
Do you mind if I sit here and eat
please do.
while you do your presentation?
I'll do my presentation. All right. Thank you so much for watching. In the next episode, I'm going to be interviewing Andrew on the first time in a long time, a fire to talk. See you then. Cheers. Oh, let's get cold.